Hey everybody, this is my video on figure 1-1 out of our textbook, The Elements of Communication. Different elements of communication are message feedback, channel, and settings. The elements can affect two or more individuals trying to have a conversation through feedback that the listeners are giving each other, either through their body language or their verbal responses. Noise in the settings can affect the elements of communication, and the setting in which the communication is taking place can also affect it. What you can do as a communication partner to overcome these elements is to provide positive feedback through your body language and your verbal responses, and also to recommend a private setting for one-on-one conversations or small group conversations so that people are more willing to give positive feedback. Examples that could impact communication interaction, a lot of those could be negative. For example, if the setting has a lot of noise, a lot of background noise, that could affect the interaction of communication. Or if somebody gives a negative feedback, that could also affect it. One common source of negative feedback that I think a lot of people give during a conversation is sometimes crossed arms, which sends the message that you're not involved or interested in the conversation, or maybe you don't agree with what the speaker is talking about. An interaction that I've had within the past week is I had an interaction with my supervisor a few days ago. We actually met in a private setting in his office to discuss a problem that we needed to come up with a solution for. Some of the elements were a private setting in my supervisor's office. We met to solve a problem, and we provided a lot of feedback, a little bit through nonverbal communication with our body languages, and a lot of feedback through verbal communication. We gave a lot of ideas and then agreed and disagreed with some of each other's ideas. Some of the elements that affected our interaction was the setting definitely affected it in a positive way. Meeting in a private setting helped to set the tone, allowed each of us to feel more comfortable giving feedback. Something that I could do in the future to minimize the impact of negative elements would maybe be to think about some of my responses before giving them, especially when I meet with my supervisor. Sometimes I have things that I would like to say and I don't think through them and maybe how they will be received before I speak. Sometimes I just say them because it's the first thing that comes to mind. So in the future, I'm going to do a better job of thinking about what I'm about to say and how it's going to be perceived, especially by my supervisor, before sending the message.